Yes guys, Jess here, back with another video. You've read the title. You can see in the short term, Bitcoin's actually consolidating in this symmetrical triangle over here. So a breakout to the downside or the upside is very likely, because this actually indicates that there's volatility actually coming in towards the market anytime from now. You can see that we had a previous move down, so a move to the downside is on the table. However, you can see that we had a lot of top points on the top side over there, so it's likely we can actually get that move to the upside. You want to see price action just above 98,500, and that's likely where we can get a massive squeeze. And the reason I'm saying this is because you can see we have a lot of liquidity piling up above us right now. So you can see that it's likely we can actually go to the majority of the liquidity, as Bitcoin always goes to the majority. However, we have a little bit of a liquidity just below 95k, so it's likely that we can come down. So we need to be looking at both scenarios. We need to be looking at all the data points, and we also need to be talking about Ethereum, because you can see Ethereum here has a lot of liquidity to the upside. After that brutal move to the downside, you can see that Ethereum actually had a massive crash towards the downside over here. If I measure that again, you can see that it was actually just wick to wick, was about 37%, so that's absolutely insane. And you can see in the short term, Ethereum's trying to reverse here. We're trying to actually reclaim previous levels, so we need to be seeing if we're actually going to be moving up, or if this is going to be a massive trap over here where we actually come down and maybe feel some inefficiency from this wick. We need to be seeing if that is actually likely and the different levels to be monitoring. Before we get into the analysis, let's smash up that like button. Let's try and get above 25 likes. That'll be absolutely insane, guys. And with that being said, let's get straight away in towards this banger. Bow. So yes, guys, we're actually consolidating in the short term, and you can see that we're actually capped still between December's range. So you can see that Bitcoin is likely to actually start to move to the upside, because we've already tested this level of support over here. And you can see that if we actually reclaim the mid-range, that'll be the first step from the bulls. And then we need to be putting in closing candles above 101k over here. So in and around 101.2 to actually punch in a higher high, and maybe we can actually start to reverse the trend to the upside. But again, we're in a range, so failure to break above the mid-range can potentially mean that we can come and fill this wick completely and come in towards the range lows, potentially deviate, reclaim it, and then we can target the mid-range and the range highs. So of course, you need to be paying attention when we actually reach the extremities. To be fair, we've actually come in towards this level of support over here, so it's likely that we can actually return all the way to the range highs, since we have a lot of liquidity pockets just above us. So it's likely we can actually get a reversal. So definitely, I do think that's not the time to be being bearish. You can see that we had the Zelda news, this inauguration actually playing out, where we had the inauguration window. So from the 13th to the 20th, which was the week before he actually was in office, and the actual day he came into office. And you can see that we had a massive run up. There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of things going on. And then as soon as he actually came in office, we had a massive pullback. So of course, this is psychology of markets. It's very typical where you have very bullish news coming up. You actually rally in towards the news, and then you get a shakeout. People are left in disbelief. People are getting bearish, and they're not actually believing that we're going to get a massive rally to the upside. And this fuels the fire where shorters start entering the market, and then that is for the taking, and we actually get a massive squeeze to the upside. So you can see this fractal actually perfectly highlights that, and I do think that this is likely to actually happen. So of course, we need to be seeing closing candles just above 101.5, and then if we can actually get that, that's the first sign to be seeing a massive move to the upside. So if you're enjoying the analysis and you want to be trading yourself, make sure to be clicking that first link down below. If you click that first link down below, it will take you to this page over here, which is the page for Blofin. Blofin are offering my community a massive 100,000 US dollars of deposit bonuses, so make sure to be taking advantage of this massive opportunity. Blofin are one of the best exchanges. In fact, Blofin are the only exchange that have fire blocks, which means that your funds are more secure, and they have a third-party custodian to ensure that. So I definitely recommend Blofin. On top of that, they have extremely low maker fees, which means it's very cheap to be trading and not be paying a lot of fees over time, which can add up. So I definitely recommend Blofin. That's the first link down below in the description. Make sure to be checking them out. And for any reason, if you don't want to be using Blofin, then we have KCEX and MEXC down here, but you have a lot of bonuses up for grabs over here as well. So make sure to be checking these links down below if you want to be trading for yourself. So you can see the standard correction this bull market is in and around the 20% region. So we've come close to that. We've had a 16% pullback this time. So it's likely that the low is actually in. If we get a liquidity grab, then we may actually pull out the full 20% correction on average. But it looks like the 16% is very viable in this strong uptrend. We had a nice range and things are reset. And why I say that, as you can see, your funding rate actually is extremely reset, even negative on some coins. So of course, that's significant. That's very significant. Every time you have negative funding rates, you get a massive bounce. And every time you have a big liquidation, most likely you have a reversal. You can see at the top there, your long to short ratio is actually skewed towards your shorts. So of course, that is for the taking. The liquidity to the upside is definitely likely. We can actually see that squeeze in towards that 102 at least before we can actually evaluate what's going on. Now, a lot of people are looking at this fractal and thinking we've actually topped out. Although this is actually viable, we have a level of resistance. I completely disagree, because getting bearish at upsloping resistance and short-term upward sloping resistance is one of the worst things you can do, because if price action actually consolidates here as it is, and then we start moving to the upside, we can still hit that resistance point and get to 110k, and then you can get another consolidation and then a move up. And if you extend this trend line, you can see that you can still be capped below the trend line, but you're just going higher and higher, and you don't have a clear invalidation that makes sense if you're bearish on this trend line. So in my opinion, this is not very good to be looking at. I think that it's a massive trap in my opinion, and you need to be understanding why we had a massive bear market last time we came into this trend line. That was because the Federal Reserve actually started to increase interest rates. So of course we had the FOMC meeting not too long ago. So speaking about the FOMC meeting and the Fed, you can see this was the Federal Reserve press release, and they actually mentioned that the committee is strongly committed to supporting maximum employment and returning inflation to its 2% objective. So that's the last highlighted sentence over there. That means that if inflation continues to be stubborn and inflation actually starts to decrease a bit faster than the Fed actually wants, indicating that we can get inflation below the 2% target due to interest rates actually being quite high at the minute, then of course they're going to start cutting rates, which is going to lead to a massive pump in markets. So in my opinion, I think that the macro is looking quite good, and we still yet to have another rate cut. So again, looking at a cycle top doesn't make sense at all, because as soon as the Fed actually starts to cut rates, actually going to start injecting liquidity into financial markets, which just means that Bitcoin is likely to actually move to the upside. So of course, we need to be looking at different metrics and different reasons why we actually might be topping, not just off of a trend line. And you can see a better pattern to be looking at is this bullish megaphone. We're actually testing this support level over here. We failed to break below. You can see that the fractal is exactly playing out. So I think this is actually nice, as you have a good invalidation, because if you break back in towards a trend line, you hold, that is an indication that we can actually start to move to the downside, and you can actually put your stop loss at the highs. So of course, if we actually reverse again, then of course it's likely that that was a major low and we're actually going to shift the trend to the upside. So your invalidation actually makes sense. So I think this is actually looking really good. And of course, you can see on the higher time frames, this is year 3 where we have an altcoin season typically after you have that Bitcoin season, and Bitcoin starts moving to the upside, and of course you have the Bitcoin dominance actually skyrocketing. And talking about the Bitcoin dominance skyrocketing, you can see over here we had the insane fake out. This was massive, and I was actually calling this on Twitter, guys. I was telling you guys we had an Adam and Eve double bottom reversal pattern, which is indicated that we can get a move to the upside. So I said that the altcoin season over here could be postponed until further notice. I made sure to give you guys that alpha, so of course that's why it's very important to be following me on Twitter to be staying up to date with what I'm seeing in the market. And you can see that we had that massive push. So of course I was looking for a deviation above that key level, and if you actually want to know what that key level is, you can see on my previous post here we had a massive resistance point at 61.3, which was previously support. I've highlighted every time that we've interacted in that level, and you can see it's a massive pivot point. And of course everybody was calling for Bitcoin dominance being topped, and I did say as well to myself, even in this post, that Bitcoin dominance has topped. Altcoin season is next. It was looking likely that that was the top. We had a falling wedge in the lower time frames. I'm pretty sure you guys would remember that falling wedge. However, just before the breakout here, you can see I was telling you guys that we had a symmetrical triangle. We had a double bottom reversal pattern. Caution must be exercised. You guys need to be keeping your finger on the pulse. Of course, these crypto markets are moving very quick. So this is why it's important to be following me with post notifications on, because in a matter of a few days, the whole picture can change. You know, price action develops every day, of course, with every candle close. So of course you need to be staying on top of things and be having notifications on to be getting those alerts. But we can see right now, if we look at what's happened, we actually went up, and of course the aftermath over here, we had that massive squeeze to the upside, and then we had a wick forming indicating a swing failure pattern from the bulls. So of course this indicates that failure to break above that key level, meaning there's weakness. That was a shakeout, and that was exactly what I was looking at. I didn't expect it to go as aggressively up, and I didn't expect Ethereum to actually come all the way at $2,000 there. But of course, you know, the idea was correct, and we've actually breaking back in towards this symmetrical triangle. So we kind of feel that wick potentially 50%, which is a strategy I do talk about. But if we can't and we just move to the downside now, and this was just straight manipulation, we're likely to actually break the trend to the downside, and then you're going to see your altcoins actually start to bounce. So speaking about altcoins, we can see Ethereum, the biggest altcoin by market cap. we've actually came in towards this trend line here. So if I go into the weekly time frame, you can see how massively we're bouncing. We actually came in towards this level of support. This was actually insane, and we're actually forming one of the biggest hammer candles I've ever seen in crypto, actually, in a long time, especially on such a great coin like this. Maybe the meme coins, you'll see a lot of these candles on manipulation wicks, but of course on a coin like Ethereum is insane to see. And we actually saw Eric Trump actually talking about it's a great opportunity to actually add to Ethereum just a few days ago. So of course you can see Ethereum actually bouncing ever since he's actually posted a tweet. So that's actually really good, and you can see Ethereum's actually moving to the upside. So if we fill the wick 50%, that's a bounce zone in my opinion. But again, it's not guaranteed. We could just move to the upside very quickly. But of course, I think the best entry you can get if you didn't already start buying Ethereum down here is this 50% wick over here at 2,400. If we can't actually get there, then of course, any return to the support here, and you can see that price action doesn't want to come down, then of course you could actually long this support level to the top side, which is one of the best ways you can actually trade, you know, long support, short resistance. Very simple. And I think that this is a high probability zone to actually be looking for Ethereum to actually start bouncing. And you can see we're actually holding in this symmetrical triangle phase where we actually can see a massive breakout for Ethereum. So that's actually looking really good. And of course, you're holding this upward slope and parallel channel level of support over here, the mid range, and you can see that it's likely we can actually have a bullish target for 2025 way above 12k for Ethereum. So if we actually get in towards the 70 to 20k region, that would be a 5x from where we are right now on Ethereum. So you can imagine the gains you can get on coins like Pepe, you know, ENS, your ETH beta coins. There's so many different coins I could mention, but of course those are the two I'll probably be paying attention to if Ethereum is really bullish. And if you want to be letting me know what coins you think are the best if Ethereum pumps, let me know in the comments as well, or any coins you want me to chart. I'll definitely be making an altcoin video once I get extra confirmation from the Bitcoin dominance. But looking at the Bitcoin dominance, we're still having that massive resistance point over here where we have the rising wedge and we have this horizontal. So of course, if we start to lose it finally with some confirmation there, then I do think that on that, you know, retest that lower high there, that will be ultimate confirmation for that massive altcoin season. Now, if you're not too sure about technical analysis, you're quite new to trading, or you want to improve your technical analysis, make sure to be clicking this link down below, which is the 4th link in the description, and this will take you to this page over here, which is the page for 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦. 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦 is my trading community with another analyst called Bill, so definitely be following him on Twitter as well. He's very good trader, and so am I. We have a lot of short-term entries that I don't cover on the channel for a lot of altcoins, so we're actually killing it in this server. So if you want to be joining this community, then make sure to be following 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦, and you could be checking out all the students that we do follow and messaging them to get their opinion on how they're finding it. So here are some of the testimonials from the students over here from our Discord. You can see this is all the things that we do include on the Discord on the left hand side, and then you could pause the video and read some of these testimonials, and definitely message some of the students, as this is one of the best communities you can be enjoyed in to be learning how to trade, as you can see by the education and bootcamp, and also to be taking some entries that me and Spill are actually alerting. I do recommend that you join a community for this alt season, as of course the more people that you're conversating with, the more opportunities you'll be actually seeing. So make sure to be checking out 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦 if you want to be joining the community. That's the 4th link down below over there. This is their account, and we'll get back to you and see if you're fit for the group, as we do like to keep it exclusive. So yeah, make sure to be checking out 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦. So that'll be it for me. Make sure to be following me on Twitter to be staying up with consistent updates over here. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.